I wanted to ask, because I know many of my answers to my questions will be delivered when you come down and train us down in Australia, in Sydney, but I wanted to sort of ask you about a little bit further about something that won't be as kind of commonly talked about, which is the principle where you talked about a dollar into two. Can you tell us a little bit about how you did that in real estate, how you did that in mail order? I mean, not a lot of people know that you are a fantastic direct response marketer with your mail order business. Can you talk to us about the dollar into two concept?
Well, we all pay taxes, and we all hate the idea that we're losing that money. But there's a difference between hating that you lose that money and hating to pay taxes. I love paying taxes. If it is the fair amount and if it is used wisely, I think we all have to contribute that, because that's how you set up social programs, that's how you build infrastructure, that's how you have a military and all of those kind of things. So that's great. But I always had the belief that the money that I pay in taxes, I want to make up through wise investments. So this is why I got into real estate right away in the 70s and I started buying raw land, and developing that, started buying apartment buildings, and just think about it. I mean, I remember in 1974, I bought my first apartment building, and we bought it for $215,000. It was then a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I put only down like maybe $37,000. But within 2 years, that apartment building was worth, instead of the $350,000, and I sold it. So imagine now how much gain there was, right? I mean, so we made hundreds of percent on my initial investment. So that's what I'm talking about. So it takes thoughts and ideas can make much more money than actual physical labor. And physical labor is always part of the action, because I always say you got to work your ass off no matter what you do, because now you have a great idea, but then you still have to implement it, and you have to hustle, you have to go to the bank, get your financial statement, do this and that, and raise money sometimes, and you go to look at 1,000 apartment buildings to find the right one, and all of those kind of things. So you still have to work. But normally, if it is just physical labor, you can never make the money than you can make when you have ideas. So this is why it's important. I always tell people, I say, the secret is there's certain times, don't think. Like when you get up in the morning, don't think. Just roll out of bed, go in your life cycle, or go on a bicycle ride, or go to the gym, work out. You know that's what you have to do. And then read something and learn something. So don't even think about it. But there's other times where you have to really think, and you really have to get creative and have a clear vision of where you want to go and what you want to do. And that's what I always had, and that's what I always believed in. I always believed in making money so that then you can do something with that. You invest in it in order, eventually you create a family, you give some of to your kids and all that stuff, but also for charity. Look, I have the Schwarzenegger Institute at USC. So we have to raise money all the time and make money to pay for that and to support that. We have the R20, the environmental organization. Well, any organization and any idea is great, but if you don't have the money, you can implement anything. And so this is why it is important that if it is an environmental organization, or if it is my after-school programs that are nationwide, where we raise millions and millions of dollars every year, or if it is just, living in a great mansion or driving a nice Bentley and a Bugatti, those kind of things, it takes money to do all this kind of stuff. So therefore, I believe in making $1 into two and having a good time when I pay my taxes. So when someone says, Arnold, I say, we have bad news. You owe $15 million in taxes. I say, wow, yes. And then they look at me and says, why are you happy about that? I said, because that means we must have made a lot of money to have to pay that much money in taxes. And they say, that's the way you look at it. And so that's the way I look at it.
Wow, very positive.
Yeah. The bigger your goals are, and the more outrageous they are, or especially if someone else has never done it, then the people will always say, this is crazy, this will never happen. You cannot do that. It's impossible and all those things. And so, we have heard all the naysayers and everything like that. And you just cannot pay any attention to that, because it's just the way it is. And so I always feel like if I can see it, and if I can believe it, then I can achieve it.
Beautiful. And man, do the unthinkable, do the impossible. I love your quote. it's impossible until you do. I love how you say, well, if it's impossible, that's great. So when I do it, not if, but when I do it, I'll be the first one to do it.
That's right, but that's a famous Nelson Mandela quote, you see? And this is why I always, credit him for the quote, because Nelson Mandela said, everything seems to be always impossible until someone does it. And I said to myself, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You have to think about that for a second, because he made it sound so simple, but it is true.
Yeah.
When someone says that we're going to go and land on Mars, the people are going to say, that's not going to happen for a long time. It's not going to happen, or whatever it is, and it's only because no one has done it. But as soon as someone does it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then, and as soon as people hang out there, then all of a sudden they say, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is, and I think that people should not be discouraged when they hear from people say, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Forget about it. Look, I'm an expert in this subject. It's not going to happen. Because remember, in my seminars, I talk about that. The number one experts in movie making, agents, managers, and studio executives, looked me in the eye when I was finished with bodybuilding competition, and I said to them, I would like to become a leading man in movies. Can you help me and tell me the kind of things that I need to do to get there? And they just said, Arnold, you're a great bodybuilding champion. Why bother with this? It's not going to happen. No one has ever become a star, a leading man with an accent. No one. And especially not with your body, and blah, blah, blah. And they found every excuse that you could think of. And this were the number one experts.
And to them, they were valid reasons.
They were very valid reasons. But because they were making their decision based on what did history teach them. Now, history taught them that no one has ever made it, because like they said, look, people in America want to hear people talk like John Wayne. That is their hero.
Yeah.
Or Clint Eastwood. Make my day.
Yep.
That's, great. But, I can put you in some movie where you play a Nazi or something like that. Yeah, we can do that. I could get you a job like that if that's what you want. So that's the kind of attitude that I saw. But I said to myself, I understand it, because I've heard the same thing in bodybuilding. I heard the same thing when I said I want to go to America. So yeah, of course I will hear that. But I didn't pay any attention. I just moved on, and that proved them wrong.
I love it.
Yeah.